All right, let's dive into a real head-scratcher from the tech world. We're talking about a job that's in super high demand, it pays well, and get this, it's officially one of the happiest careers you can have. So, why can't companies find anyone to do it? Let's crack this case.
First things first, let's lay out the evidence. Back in 2018, a Career Bliss survey dropped a bombshell. Software quality assurance analyst was ranked the second happiest job in America. Number 2. That's just behind loan officer and way ahead of jobs like dentist and even programmer. I mean, by the numbers, you'd think people would be lining up for this gig.
But they're not. And this is where our mystery really begins. The World Quality Report says there's a global shortage of good SQA professionals. Demand is through the roof, but the talent pipeline is just running dry. So what is going on here? Why is there this massive gap between how great the job is and how people think about it?
To get to the bottom of this, a research team in Sri Lanka, which is a huge global tech hub by the way, decided to investigate. They were seeing this exact problem with their own IT undergrads and wanted to find the root cause. And to do that, they needed the right tool to kind of get inside the students' heads.
And that tool has a fancy name, the Theory of Planned Behaviour. Now, this isn't some newfangled tech framework. It's actually a classic psychological theory from the 80s, and it's all about predicting why we make the choices we do. Whether you're deciding what to eat or what career to pursue, this theory is the perfect lens for our investigation. So the theory really just boils down to 3 key clues that tell you what someone's going to do. First, their attitude. What do they personally believe about it? Second, subjective norms. What do they think their friends, family, and professors believe? And third, perceived behavioral control. Do they feel like they can actually do it? The researchers used these 3 clues to decode why students were steering clear of SQA.
Okay, so armed with this framework, the researchers surveyed over 500 computing students. And as they started sifting through the answers, a really clear picture started to form. This hesitation about SQA careers, it wasn't random at all. It was built on some very specific and very consistent beliefs.
So let's start with clue number 1, the students' own attitudes. A lot of the students who said no thanks to SQA had some pretty strong opinions. They believed it was a less challenging job, with fewer chances to learn cool new stuff. They also thought the pay was lower and that it was harder to climb the career ladder compared to a straight-up software developer role.
Now for the second clue, and this one is all about social pressure, what they think other people believe. The students felt that the world at large saw SQA in an even worse light. There was this really strong feeling that it's the job you take if you just can't hack it as a developer. They also thought society sees it as less technical, a dead-end career, and, this is a big one, that it's a job that's more suitable for women.
And this third clue is where all those outside ideas become internal roadblocks. Because of what they believed and what they thought others believed, students started thinking things like, it's just flat out better to be a developer, or that being a QA engineer means you're not as technically skilled. And a really common one was this idea that once you go into QA, you're stuck there. You can't ever move into another role.
But here's one of the most eye-opening things the study found. When they separated the answers by gender, something really jumped out. It was a significantly higher percentage of male students who were firmly in the "I will never do SQA" camp. And we're not talking a small difference here. This was a major split.
This quote from a female student in the study it says it all, really. She's talking about how people would recommend SQA as a career for women, but it's the tone that matters. It wasn't being sold as this awesome, ambitious, top-tier choice. It was presented more like a fallback, a default option. That one sentence just perfectly captures all the subtle and maybe not so subtle biases at play.
So that begs the question, right? Where are all these negative ideas coming from? Well, the researchers pinpointed a crucial moment where these vague student ideas turned into hard and fast career decisions. And that turning point, the real smoking gun in this whole case, was the mandatory industry internship.
I mean, just think about it. An internship is supposed to be this amazing bridge between the classroom and the real world. It's your chance to get fired up about a career path. But what the study found was that for so many students, this real-world experience in SQA was actually the very thing that pushed them away from the job for good.
So here's the critical part, how their views changed. Before the internships, a lot of students were kind of on the fence, maybe a little neutral. But after spending a few months inside a real company, their negative attitudes got way sharper. The idea that SQA engineers get paid less and that the role is treated as a lower priority, that belief became much stronger. They had now seen it with their own eyes.
So when you put all of this evidence together, the personal attitudes, the social pressure, and then this internship experience, what you end up with isn't just a few students having a bad time. You have the perfect recipe for a vicious cycle, a self-perpetuating problem that is draining the entire industry's talent pool. And here's exactly how that cycle works. Step 1, an intern goes into a company and has a really negative or disillusioning experience in an SQA role. Step 2, they go back to university, not inspired, but with these new, hardened negative beliefs. Step 3, they tell their stories, their real-world intel, to the younger students who totally look up to them. And Step 4, those junior students are now turned off the idea before they even give it a shot. And the whole cycle starts all over again.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty bleak, but this story doesn't have to end there. The great thing is, the research didn't just point out the problem, it actually laid out a really clear roadmap for how to fix it. The key, it turns out, is a team effort, with both universities and tech companies having to step up to break this cycle.
And the solution is really a two-pronged attack. First, on the academic side, universities need to beef up the curriculum. Introduce quality assurance concepts way earlier and show off the cool modern tech like test automation. But honestly, the bigger lift is on the industry side. Companies have to fundamentally fix the internship experience, stop treating SQA teams like second-class citizens, and, this is critical, they have to fix the pay and reward structures to show the rule's true value.
So, the case of the unpopular dream job is a pretty powerful example of how these hidden attitudes and unwritten social rules can completely shape our reality. And that kind of brings us to a final question for you. What invisible scripts, those assumptions you've picked up from society or from your family or your coworkers, might be steering your own career path, maybe without you even realizing it?